Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and today we're going to compare the Sony WF-1000 XM3 and comparing them to the Jabra Elite 65Ts. Let's check them out. Now, if you're considering the Sony XM3s as well as the Jabra Elite 65Ts, you're going to want to watch this video, because today we're going to do a comparison review of both of these products. We're going to take a look at battery life. We're going to take a look at audio quality. We're going to look at music quality. And we'll take a look at some of the unique features that separate the two from each other. So let's get right to it. Now, the first thing we're going to focus on is the battery life. So as we take a look at the Sony XM3s, the thing that stands out about the Sonys is the battery life. And I have to tell you right off the bat, it crushes the Jabra 65Ts. So you're looking at an 8-hour usage time for the combined earbuds, or you can use these earbuds individually and get 16 hours. Now that 8-hour usage is going to be if you have active noise canceling off. If you turn on active noise canceling, it still crushes the Elites because it has 6 hours of battery life combined, or 6 hours individually, because you can use each one of these separately. Now, on the Jabra Elite side, the Jabra Elite themselves are going to give you 5 hours. So you're going to get 5 hours of usage out of these, right? And the case is going to give you some additional usage. Now, you can use only one earbud if you'd like, but it's going to be really just the right one. So you're not going to be able to switch off and on to be able to extend the overall usage of the earbuds. So 5 hours of battery life, and what you're going to be able to do is get an additional 10 hours. So with the actual case, right? So you get some decent battery life, but still nowhere close to the Sonys. Because let's talk about where the Sonys are. So the Sonys, if you use the case, you're going to get anywhere from 24 to 32 hours worth of usage. And again, that 24 to 32 is going to vary based on active noise canceling being on or off. So from a battery perspective, it really, it just really crushes it. Now, there's one thing also. Both of these do have fast charging technology. So if you were to look at the Jabras are going to give you 15-minute rapid charging is going to give you an hour and a half. So if you take these, put them in the case, and they're dead, and you close them up, in 15 minutes you're going to get an hour and a half. But the Sonys, if you put them in the case, you're going to get in 10 minutes, 90 minutes. So again, it's going to be really competitive when it comes to the usage, but overall, Sony really crushes Jabra when it comes to battery life. Now, focusing on Bluetooth, both of them have Bluetooth 5.0. So you have some really good connectivity here. You have good range. So I've been able to walk around our house, go through walls, and not have a problem with it losing any connectivity. Also, synchronization when it comes to Hulu, when it comes to Netflix, when it comes to YouTube. I haven't experienced any problems using both the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus as well as a Note 10s Max. So I haven't had issues with either one of these. But one of the big differences between the two is that the Sonys do not have a slave and master mode, which means I can wear one earbud on its own, take phone calls, listen to music, and leave the other one in its case charging. If I'd like to come back and use this one and put it on my ear or in my ear, take it out, put it in, I can actually take this one, put it back, and continue to use it. And it's going to continue to listen to my audiobooks. It's going to continue to move through and watch if I'm watching two movies. So everything continues to go through this. Also, if I'm on a phone call, I can switch back and forth too. Now, with the Jabras not so much. So when you put on the Jabras, you can only be able to use one earbud, and it would be this earbud if you want to use a single earbud. You cannot switch in back and forth. They also do have a slave mode. So your right is controlling the streaming of the left. So that's a big difference, and kind of like one of the big reasons why I think the Sony crushes the Jabra. Now, your call experience is very similar with both of these. So you're going to be able to have stereo calls with these earbuds. So you'll hear the caller on both sides. Now, you do have also transparency mode with these. From a transparency, I'll give it to the Jabras. The Jabras are louder when it comes to transparencies. They actually amplify a little bit more. I find that the Sonys have the transparency mode, or hear-through technology, but it's not really as amplified. It's pretty basic, and it's more than basic. I find that it's a little bit dull. It could be a little bit louder. So in this case, the Jabras really take it when it comes to transparency mode. Now, as we take a look at the audio quality, I have to say that the Jabras are actually not as great as the Sonys. The Sonys do crush the Jabras in several ways. So first of all, I've described the Sonys as bright, not as deep in bass as you were to have an experience with the Sennheisers. But when you compare them to the Jabras, the bass is punchier. The mids and the highs, it's very clear and it's very clean and it's bright. It's almost like listening to HD music, that kind of fidelity, than it would be when you're listening to the Jabras. The Jabras have mids, highs, and bass. It's there, but it's just not as punchy, it's not as exciting, and it's not as immersive as the Sonys. The Sonys do a much better job at it. So if you're looking for something that has better music reproduction and is going to give you a deeper bass and a more immersive experience, then you don't want to go with the Sonys. Now, from an IP rating perspective, Sony doesn't have an IP rating. The Jabras have an IP rating of 5. Now, as we take a look at the cases, the case for the Sony is magnetic. Nothing comes out. Has USB-C connection in the back, and the earbuds lock magnetically, which is also really cool. So as I put these on, you'll see what they look like. We'll put them in place. They look great, and you can see how it looks when I go from right to left, and they're not going to fall out of your ear. But they are larger than the Jabras, so you can take a look at that. Now, when I put them back in the case, they do lock in magnetically, so they slap into place just like that, right? And then it's not going to open up on you, and even if it was open, it's not going to come out. Now, as I look at the Jabras case is not magnetic. It uses micro USB. It is significantly smaller, and this is what they look like when you put them on. Okay, so here, this is what it looks like. So which one do you like? These I find feel a little bit smaller and tapered and tighter. They have a tighter fit. Both of them have a great fit. So both of them do a real nice job when it comes to passive noise canceling. But I find that these are a slight bit ahead of the Sonys when it comes to fit. I actually enjoy these more in my ear. Okay. As I put them back in the case, what we'll notice is that the case is not a magnetic case. When we put them back in, they are, you place them in and then you have to close them, but you do get a satisfying click indicating that it was closed. So overall, while the case is bigger for the Sony, I kind of prefer the case, the battery life, as well as the experience when keeping them locked in place. Now both of these, now from an EQ perspective, both of them have a decent EQ. The apps are pretty robust, and I want to say that the Jabra has a more mature app. It has a lot more capabilities than the Sony does. So you can change the bass, you can change the mids and the high experience, you can change the transparency mode, and you can also adjust just how the controls work to a certain degree, not to a great degree. But I'd give them kind of like in the app space, equal footing. It all depends on how much you go into the apps and make modifications and personalize things. I don't really do it that often, so the app is great for firmware changes. It's great for some minor tweaks when it comes to EQ, but that's pretty much it. So I give them an equal footing when it comes to the app. So now we're doing a call quality test using the Sony XM3. So as you can see, the decibel readings are still around the same, 52 to 74 dB, and we're going to switch to the Sonys. This is what the call quality would sound like on the Sony XM3s. This is a test, 1, 2, 3, this is a test. Let me know what you think about the sound quality on the Sonys in this loud noise environment. I'll take your So next we're going to do a call quality test of the Jabra Elite 65Ts in a noisy environment. So as you can see here, our decibel ratings are anywhere from 51 all the way up to 74. Now this is what the call quality would sound like in a noisy environment, ranging anywhere from 52 all the way up to max of 75 in a noisy environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3, this is a test. Let me know what you thought of the call quality in the comment area below. So what did you think? Sonys or the Jabras? I'm going to go with the Sonys for two things. Actually, a couple. We're going to go with the fact that it has better audio reproduction, the fact that the battery life is better and it has noise canceling, and then also the fact that I can use them independently. Now Jabra, great when it comes to transparency, superior than Sony. Jabra's case is a little bit smaller, and I feel that the overall fit is better for me. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comment area below.